Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com. And those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube to support the broadcast, we thank all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we were off during the Holy Week for a couple of days due to the resurrection season that we were in. And I want to say to all of you, I know you were continuing to go back and review some of the archives, and to God be the glory. We are thankful that we are able to be archived on our website for 1 year, but on Facebook and YouTube, well, let me rephrase that. On YouTube, we are there in perpetuity. So you can always go back and review. If we're off the air, you can always go back and review the broadcasts that were previous. But we had a great time in our Holy Week and our resurrection season. But we are back, and we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So we're still in the midst of our FijiWater.com sponsored promo, where you can listen to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com. You can listen 24 hours a day. You can do that 365 days, 7 days a week, 365 days. However, at 12 noon and 6 p.m., you can tune in, and the first three songs, tune in daily. The first three songs that you hear at 12 p.m. or 6 p.m., you can text the first three songs that you hear along with your name and your email address on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. One of our listeners and viewers will be selected again this month and each month throughout the year to receive a case of Fiji, Earth's finest water, Fiji Water, from FijiWater.com. And I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, normally we would have had with us the first Thursday of the month, Rebecca Boover, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. However, due to Holy Week, Becca was not with us and will be with us this Thursday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your brother keeps dating women who you say are drop dead gorgeous that have no substance. However, you said the relationships never last because although he makes really very good money, you said, when he tightens up, they're gone. So those are not women let me begin by saying this. Those are not women who are interested in a relationship. The younger generation has a term for them, and they call them gold diggers. What your brother needs is someone who's a gold digger. Not gold digger, but a gold, Goal. Someone who is interested in goals, and someone who's interested in his goals, and someone who is interested in the main goal, which is dating for a purpose and a mission to accomplish marriage. You see, the problem in our society today is that, like everything else, there are ebbs and flows. And we're in a period right now where I hear a lot from young people, particularly because, I'm around a lot of young people during the week. And we have young people in our church also, but they're focused on the right mind, the right mindset. But I hear a lot from a lot of young people, and because we have our Achievers Academy, and one of the things I hear from them all the time is, you got a whole generation that's chasing the bag. And so it started with, I'm going to break this down for everyone. It started with women wanting a bag. They wanted the LV. They wanted the Gucci. They wanted the Chanel. They wanted the bag. It started with that. But those were women who were career women, who were married, who had husbands who would gift them a bag for a holiday. They would gift them a bag for their birthdays. They would give them, but because many of the women are not seeking marriage now, they are chasing the bag. And what that means is they're trying to find a guy who's going to either spend the bag or purchase a bag. So this is what I'm hearing from young people. And so this is what I hear from the young ladies, and then the young men tell me, but Pastor, they're gold diggers. They're digging for gold. They're mining for gold. And what I really want to help people to understand is, all that glitters isn't gold. Some of it's fool's gold. When you chase your goals, you get the gold. So Goal versus Gold. When you chase your goals, you get the gold. So the problem is your brother, men are visual creatures. But some of us understand that women who are, as you termed it, drop dead gorgeous, are living on their beauty. He likes that. But what he really should be looking for is a career-minded woman who is looking to accomplish goals. So the reason relationships don't last is because in addition to that, he should be looking for a woman who's willing to work a plan that's going to take you from generation to generation. But when you have, 30% of the population of women who now don't even, let me rephrase that. Only 30% of the population of women want to have children now. So that's a problem, because we're not living out the scripture, which is to be fruitful and multiply. If God opens your womb, that's one of the purposes, and I know I'm going to get some emails and texts about this, but that's one of the purposes of women, to give life. And so, to be fruitful and multiply. So how do we do that if we're not giving life or we're not working to accomplish goals? Because you can multiply that way also. So it should be children and a career. That's why you see the virtuous woman being so busy in Proverbs 31. But most people don't want to follow that. They don't want to follow the scriptures. They don't want to follow the word that God has spoken. And so consequently, they're chasing other things. So your brother gets in these relationships, not really relationships, and they don't last because they have no foundation to build upon. So, you know, your concern for your brother is valid. Now, you did say something in your communication that I didn't start with. You said, you know, he'll tell you stop hating. But if that's all he wants to chase right now, he can expect that to come to an end. Those are not assets, those are liabilities that he's chasing. That's a liability. The reason he has to tighten up is because he sees his bank account beginning to dwindle, then he tightens up, puts some more money aside, they leave, and then when he has more money, he starts all over again. He starts the cycle all over again. That's a mindset that is not conducive to maximizing his success. That's why you're concerned about it. So you need to continue having the conversations with him. He doesn't need to. So let me, I'm just going to take you down this road. He doesn't need to chase the girls on the pole. He doesn't need to chase the bottle girls. He doesn't need to chase, that's what he's chasing because he sees them physically appealing. But if you're hanging out in the clubs, that's what you're going to think is physically appealing. He's got to really encounter a different type of woman if he's going to have any relationships that are going to be substantial. Your concern has been in the past that you don't, and I'm going to tell you what you might want to do. You might want to introduce your brother to some of the women that you encounter in your career. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because those women are career and goal oriented. Your problem has been in the past is that if the relationship doesn't work out, this is what you said. If your relationship doesn't work out, if his relationship does not work out with them, then you'll lose a friend. Those are really not your friends. You only think they are. They're your work colleagues. They're your associates. There's nothing wrong with introducing him to one of them. But then he's got to be willing to do it the right way. He's got to be willing to lay a foundation with them in Christ. Lay a foundation that will then allow them to develop something that is sustainable, long-lasting, not something that's only going to be temporary and feel good for the moment. And that's what he's doing right now. He's you can't chase everybody with that and a smile because it's just a smile. Sooner or later, all the rest of that appeals to him is not going to continue to appeal to him because beauty is fleeting. They might be drop dead now, but they won't be drop dead forever. At some point in time, he's going to have a relationship of substance. Pray for that. I'll join you in praying for that. But the reason they're gone is because there's no substance. It doesn't last because there's no substance. And what he's going to find necessary is to find someone. Because he that finds a wife, find a wife, not a girl. Find a wife, not a young lady. Find a wife, not a gold digger, but a gold digger. Somebody who is focused on building a life together, a great quality of life together. And if he does that, he's going to find that he's in a relationship that is sustainable and is certainly going to enhance the quality of his life. I'm delighted that he has a career that's making good money. To God be the glory. But at some point in time, he's got to focus his energy, and he's got to focus his finances. And it can't be focused on somebody entertaining him because they look good and he can walk with them and roll with them and hang out with them and expect that to build a great quality of life, because that's not how it works. Remember, tell him goal diggers, G-O-A-L, not gold diggers, G-O-L-D. Because one is fleeting because all that glitters isn't gold. The other is lasting because it has substance. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. And this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. So if you're in the market for a high-performance automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com, where you will have the opportunity to virtually build out the Porsche you desire to own. And if you're in our area, simply go to PorscheDelaware.com, ask to speak to Mike Didio, General Manager of PorscheDelaware.com. He will make certain that someone assists you in selecting the Porsche you desire to own. And if you currently own a Porsche and are just in need of service, go to PorscheDelaware.com, ask to speak to Mike Adams, who is the service manager. He will make certain that someone schedules an appointment for you, that they pick up your vehicle at your home or office and drop off a loaner vehicle to you and return your vehicle to you when your service has been completed at PorscheDelaware.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your daughter is always complaining that you and your husband will not help her when she needs your help. And she says that you act like nothing is a problem when she tells you how much it is costing her to live and raise her children, and you say you and your husband have done everything that you possibly can do, but it's never enough. So let me share with you what one of the issues become as parents. So for those of us who didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth, we want more for our children than we want it for ourselves, and particularly our children and grandchildren. So you have a daughter who's divorced and she has 2 children. Okay, so you know what it's like raising children. You know how expensive it is raising children. You help her with her children as much as you possibly can. The problem is she wants you to support her, or I should say, she wants you to supplement her income. Now, here's the issue with that. The issue with that is you do that as much as you possibly can, but it also disrupts your own finances. And when I say that, meaning it precludes you from doing additional things that you might like to do because you help her financially. But she wants you to do more. But the problem is she doesn't demonstrate being responsible. She still wants to live. She's single now, so she wants to live as a single woman. But she's a single woman with 2 children. She has a son and a daughter. And they're both early in their school age. Okay, so, you've got grandchildren that are in 4th grade and 2nd grade. So you're talking about 7 years old and 10 years old, roughly. The problem with that is she can't live like a single parent, a single woman, and go out and do all the things she wants to do and then expects you to supplement her income. So the problem is you're now enabling her and rewarding her for bad habits. She's got to learn how to manage her money. She has to learn how to manage her lifestyle. And that's not your responsibility. But because you feel guilty and she's made you feel guilty in the sense by, she didn't ask to be brought here. You brought her into this world. But she got married and the marriage didn't work. And she yoked herself to someone that wasn't a good husband, but now she's raising 2 children. And even though he's present, he's only going to do what's required of him to do. So you've got to make her understand that you will help, but you're not going to be, first of all, held hostage. Second of all, by your grandchildren, by her holding you hostage with your grandchildren. And you have to tell her she's going to have to live differently. She can't spend her money going out and doing the things she wants to do and then spend your money to do the things she needs to do. Can't be that. So you're going to have to take a stand in order for her to stand on her own 2 feet. So I'm going to keep you and your family in prayer, but you're going to have to make some decisions, and you're going to have to sit down and have a conversation with her and let her know that you're only going to do what you desire to do, not what you are required by her to do. And if you do that, you'll have some peace, because otherwise you're not going to be at peace. Everything's going to be an emotional turmoil for you because of what she's going through. But she's only going through it because she's making bad decisions, demonstrating poor behavior. You can't enable that. And that's what you've been doing to date. Something's got to change, or some might say something's got to give. And it can't be you continuing to give. I'm going to make an announcement today that we have a new sponsor for 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Comcast Business. If you are in need of being more effective and efficient, if you desire to be more effective and efficient in business, call Eunice at 603-222-7706. Code is Pastor Pope, and receive an $800 prepaid Visa gift card with a qualifying bundle from Comcast Business. Again, contact Eunice at Comcast Business at 603-222-7706. Give her the code Pastor Pope and receive a $800 prepaid Visa gift card with a qualifying bundle. And that's at Comcast Business. We want to thank Comcast Business for being the new sponsor of 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I'm going to also remind all of our listeners and viewers that we are in the midst of a FijiWater.com sponsored promo, as we will be every month for the remainder of this year. One of our listeners and viewers will be selected to receive a case of Earth's Finest Water from FijiWater.com. And the way that you do that, the way that you get into the opportunity to be selected, is by tuning in to our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com, where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you. The first 3 songs that you hear at 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, list the 3 songs along with your name and email address and text them to 267-992-1424. one of our listeners and viewers will be selected to receive a case of Earth's Finest Water from FijiWater.com. And this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have a store they have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And both companies can be reached at Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com and the White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They both will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are tired of being disrespected, you said, because of the way you want to wear your hair and your nails. You said you're being disrespected by men who will say anything they want to say, and you said, yet this is your opportunity to be creative and express yourself, and you want to know, how do you get men to mind their business? Okay, the way that you get men to mind their business is this: because men are visual creatures. If you're going to talk to a man because you're interested in him, and he tells you that he doesn't like the way you wear your hair, he doesn't like the way you're wearing nails, then all you have to do is go your separate ways. Because it's really not about being disrespected. It's really about your perception. And you feel that you're being disrespected because you want to wear hair and nails and the way you want to wear them. You want to be creative. You want to express yourself. And that's fine, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So you got to know, if you're interested in men, you have to make certain that the men that you present yourself to are the men who are going to be receptive to you being creative and to you being expressing yourself. Because at the end of the day, the men that you are trying to attract, if they really wanted someone who is an entertainer, that's what they would be trying to approach. You know, here's the reality. So one of the things you said in your communication is that every time you struggle with every time you change your hair or your nails, then men will say something a little off color to you. I used the term off color. You said a little disrespectful. Well, if you're going to attract a man looking one way, and then you're going to change up your look, and he's not interested in that any longer, that's not disrespectful. That's just your perception. Your perception is he's not allowing you to be creative and express yourself. But when he started talking to you, you looked one way, and then, 6 months into the relationship, you come home with, new hair and new nails. That's not the woman he was interested in. So he has a right to move on. He has a right to go and find what he's looking for. You have a right to do what you're doing, but is it effective? So I want to encourage you and everyone else who goes through this phases of recreating yourself. When a man is interested in you, he's interested in you the way you presented yourself to him, because we're visual creatures. Now, there are exceptions to every rule, and maybe some men won't mind you changing up, but predominantly, a man wants you the way he chose you. You do anything different than that, it may be good for you, for your self-image, it may be good for you emotionally, it may be good for you mentally, but it's not going to be good for him. And you, just like he has to respect you for choosing to be creative and express yourself, you have to respect him for moving on. No matter what he says on his way out the door, you have to respect the fact that he wants to move on, because that you're no longer the woman that he's chosen. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. Remember, with us this Thursday right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist.